Canada's a special country. You would think that the person who's in charge of handling Canada's money would be actually good with money. It turns out they're not. They have a bad spending habit. You know how there's like a joke of like women go out and they spend all the money on like purses and shoes, right, and stuff like that. That's kind of our finance minister. Except instead of purses and shoes, she spends money on emergency relief benefits that she caused by locking down the country. She gives away millions, if not billions of dollars to other countries to help them fight their wars with no profits. Seems like a bit of a bad business move, and tries to hype up that Canada has the lowest interest rates, that Canada has the lowest inflation rates, and that we're not in a global recession, or that we are in a global recession, and that Canada is doing better than all the other countries. I can't even say it with a straight face. Yeah, how's your home check doing? You enjoying paying high prices of food and gas? Does it feel like we're winning? Because I don't feel like it. I hate filling up my car. I hate it. I once was, when I was a kid, you know those Mentos, not cookies, the Mentos candies, right? That were like in a tube, like little cylinder almost looking things, and like mint and stuff like that, different flavors. I used to think that cars should be powered by that because I was a child. And well, now that would be even more efficient than filling up gasoline. So I wish I was smart enough to pursue that passion as a child and turn into someone like Elon Musk and then come up with a scientific breakthrough where we can use Mentos to power cars. Thank you so much for clicking on today's video. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. And let's Philip DeFranco this. Just jump into it. All right. The food professor says, breaking. Food inflation rate in Canada at the grocery store was 9.7% in April. The rate was higher than the US for the first time in months. Well, if I were to read that, Miss Freeland, that really, really looks like Canada is higher than America, which contradicts things that you've said. So if you're able to lie about something as simple as our inflation rate, what else are you lying about? Fruits and veggies started to increase again in April, as we've seen. Carrots, avocados, limes, potatoes, all up double digits. We are seeing this even more now, as this tweet is from May 18th. Okay. If we switch over to this one, Aaron O'Toole, breaking. Canada's inflation rate rises to 4.8%. The cost of living is skyrocketing across Canada. The Trudeau Liberals need to realize the impact this is having on you and your wallet. Now, this is a very important tweet because if you look at the date, January 19th, you might notice that that is a little bit ahead, just over a month ahead of Thursday, February 24th. And that's when Russia did the illegal invasion of Ukraine. Okay? Now, why is that important? Well, Freeland, and as well as all other liberal ministers in Canada and the Biden administration, like to say that inflation is caused by the illegal invasion of the war of whatever the heck they say. I can't even repeat it, even if I'm trying to be silly. Right? They're trying to blame it on Russia. But this started over a month ago, before the war started. So how does that make sense? Here's the hole, there's the rabbit, jump on it. Come on over. Let's go for a little walk. It's a little ridiculous, isn't it? Okay, let's switch over. And now we've got her speech. I know. You don't like hearing her voice. But let's listen to her. And let's make fun of her. Let's start there. I'd like to take this time to give a huge shout out to all the channel members and people who have recently bought bracelets on the Etsy channel. The link is down in the description. My girlfriend and I hand make those bracelets and we ship them out as fast as we possibly can. Thank you so much for all your continued support. Okay.
Okay. Well, thank you all for being here. Nous reconnaissons que la terre sur laquelle nous réunissons est le territoire. And that poses challenges for both of our countries. But it also offers historic opportunities today and in the years ahead. The hopeful and entirely open post-Cold War world order that we all tried to build, starting on November 9th, 1989, the day the Berlin Wall fell, ended on February 24th of this year. In its place, we've entered a period of friendshoring, one in which our allies know that it's worth strengthening their partnerships and building their supply chains with other democracies. Canada, and I believe the United States, know this too. The good jobs and prosperity of today and tomorrow belong to the workers who are the heart of the world's democracies, very much including those here in Canada and our neighbor to the south, the US. In our conversations today, Secretary Yellen and I covered a number of topics, including the challenge of global inflation, the impact it is having on our people on both sides of the border, and how we can work together to make life more affordable for middle-class Canadians and Americans alike, Canada's wealth of critical minerals and metals, and Canada's role in ensuring energy security for our allies.
Our minerals. We have the best mines in the entire world. We have some of the top 2 oil production in the entire world. We have more oil than a lot of the Middle East. Did you know that? Now you know. This is an oil gold mine. And we have the safest, most economically friendly way of going about it as well. Why am I doing this? Well, because it is true. We do have the most economically friendly, the most green way of extracting the oil. And that's very important to, our current government. And, going forward, yeah, we should try and do what we can to, preserve the earth, of course. Like, I don't throw, trash on the ground, especially when I go camping or anywhere for that matter. I use garbage cans and recycle bins and stuff like that, obviously. But, yeah, something that our government completely ignores. We have the best. But no, let's outsource it. We don't like child labor in Canada. So let's buy everything from China. Yeah, that makes sense.
What further action Canada and the United States can take to hold Russia accountable for its illegal invasion of Ukraine, and how we can work together to continue supporting Ukraine. Nous avons parlé de la lutte au changement climatique et lutte at this volatile time is universally acknowledged. And this is a time when that expertise and that leadership is more important than ever. So thank you very much, Secretary Yellen, for your leadership. Let me hand it over to you.
And thank you, Deputy Prime Minister Freeland. Thank you for welcoming me for my first trip to Canada as Treasury Secretary. We deeply value our relationship with Canada, our close ally and our largest trading partner. Minister Freeland and I, we actually talk very often, but visits like these offer a welcome opportunity for in-depth discussions of our shared priorities and our vision for the global economic agenda. Both of us assumed office during the pandemic. We quickly forged a bond as our governments responded to the urgent situation before us with economic policies designed not only to help us recover, but to emerge from the pandemic with a stronger economy and stronger middle class. And we continue to work together to address the needs of today.
That's working out just fine, isn't it? Don't you feel like we have a stronger economy and that the massive slaughter of jobs but then a wonderful recovery of almost all the same amount of jobs means that we have 115% job recovery. You know, our government slaughtered those jobs. Nice, that makes sense. Congratulations, you're teaching Canadians really good maths.
One of the key topics of discussion so far during my visit has been the continued importance of strong supply chains to keep costs down for families. This is especially important as both of our countries face high inflation driven by global factors like the lockdowns in China and Russia's war on Ukraine.
Nope.
Making our supply chains more resilient, including with partnerships with close trading partners and allies like Canada, will help protect us against costly disruptions and shocks to the economy today and into the future.
You know, I'm really happy with myself. I'd just like to make a huge shout out to myself right now. I'm very humble in that way. When I went to school, I would see things and I would observe them and say, you know what? I don't think that's right. And I would comment on them. And I was always told that I'm wrong, that I'm wrong, that I'm wrong. And that made me think that I was a little stupid. Which, don't get me wrong, I have my moments. That is for sure. But in terms of this, in terms of our economy right now, tanking, I'm looking at the situation. And I can clearly see that the war in Ukraine started in the end of February, the 24th. But inflation started over a year before that. Now, I've just shown you two examples of a month before, or an example of a month before. But there's other videos that I have planned that shows that it started a year before, if not sooner. And so, carry the 1, pass the 2, divide by 3, multiply by 7. Trudeau's stupid. That's plain and simple. And it's really hard. It's a tough pill to swallow. This might be called getting red pilled or black pilled. I don't really know. Okay? I don't really know. Like, this is all new to me, right? I used to be a soldier. I was in the military. Apolitical. That means no political opinion. I did my job. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. You got it. And now, just now recently, am I starting to open up about my opinion online. And it's a vulnerable thing, man, to get your face and your name, put your reputation out there on the internet, and to speak. It's easy to comment anonymously, but it's a vulnerable thing to do that. And I couldn't plant my feet more firm in the ground and say, what the heck is our government doing? They keep blaming Ukraine or the Russia and the war in Ukraine. And our inflation has little to nothing to do with that war. It happened before the war started. So how could you possibly say it has anything to do with that? Like, I could give so many examples. So it's like, spotlight, pressure. Okay. It's like, you didn't stretch before you go for a run, and you started to have cramps before you showed up to the track, before you started to run. Your foot was cramping up, right? Your heels were cramping up. Your Achilles tendon was hurting a little bit. Your quads were you're twitching, right? Maybe you didn't drink enough water. You don't have enough electrolytes, right? You're malnourished. I don't blame you. You can't afford Gatorade. And then you show up to the track and you don't really stretch. And all of a sudden you take your marks, boom! The gun goes off and you start running and you cramp up and you fall over. Well, of course you'd want to blame it on your lack of stretching. Of course. That would be amazing. But that's not it at all. You should be held accountable. You showed up malnourished. It takes a lot of time to prepare for something like that. We're not kids. You can't just get up and go and run around the way that you once were able to. No, you're an adult. You got to eat well the night prior. You got to get good night's sleep. Stay away from, alcohol. Make sure that you're well rested, that you're not hungover, type of thing. Drink a lot of water, have your electrolytes. Also stretch, eat proper food, right? Things like that. Simple things that adults do. then you can be held accountable for doing good. But when you do bad, all of a sudden, all logic flies out the window and you start blaming everything. Oh, no, it's Tim's fault. Yeah, he threw me off, man. He threw me off. He's talking about like NFTs and Bitcoin. It threw me off. The bus was late. I missed the bus. That's why I lost. There's so many ways, so many things that you can blame things on in this world. Accountability is huge. It takes guts to say, yeah, I was wrong. I think I messed up a little bit. And the Canadian government can't do that. And there's something severely wrong with that. And this new generation of kids that are coming, you know, man, I just woke up, right? Not literally. I've been awake all day. Okay? But in terms of like politics and seeing what's happening in the world, I just woke up to this crazy corruption. And if you for a moment think that everything the government says and does is 100% right and that they're never in the wrong, that's it. Thanks for watching. That's it. I can't do this. If you think that, man, people make mistakes. It's human nature to make mistakes. They're humans. They're stupid humans in the government. They're extremely stupid. And that's what we're seeing right now, is the lack of accountability. So it's just wild. Let's keep watching a little bit before I get too upset.
Minister Freeland and I have just come from a tour of Avoco.
Days, my budget legislation will be passed, and that does include, for the first time in Canada, measures that would allow us to confiscate as well as to freeze sanctioned assets. That's something which I have discussed with Secretary Yellen and with other international partners. We think it's really important to extend our legal authorities because it is going to be really, really important to find the money to rebuild Ukraine. And I can think of no more appropriate source of that funding than confiscated Russian assets. So
Canadian
that's just
taxpayer
point
money.
one for our American friends. I would also just challenge the opening premise of the question. I think that the sanctions that we have collectively imposed on Russia are, first of all, we're going to constantly be ratcheting them up. The key, though, will be the view of our European partners. And from our perspective, it's really important to ensure that on this, as with anything that has to do with Ukraine, that we keep on talking to the Ukrainians about what we're doing.
Thank you. I like this country.
Good.
I'm just also on the price cap mechanism, though. It would seem like time would be of the essence here, since they are taking in, I don't know, tens of billions of dollars a week from Europe alone. How quickly do you think that can be arranged, and do you intend to have something that maybe President Biden might be able to present to G7 leaders the end of this week?
We're working hard on it, and stay tuned.
You know, we are
What an
very,
answer.
like-minded with the U.S., with this U.S. administration when it comes to
Corruption.
the need to walk and chew gum on energy right now. Obviously, we need to focus on the short-term energy needs of North America, of the fact that Canadians and Americans are feeling real pain at the pumps, and also the real challenges when it comes to energy security that our European partners are facing. And Canada, as an energy producer, we take our responsibility to our allies really seriously, and so we are working hard to increase production. And, you know, the Canadian position on Keystone is unchanged. It's something we bring up whenever we have these meetings, and I did today. But I also really want to emphasize something Secretary Yellen emphasized in her opening remarks, which is actually this the energy crisis which Putin's invasion of Ukraine has prompted
Oh, she
is
left out
yet
illegal.
another reason to take climate action really, really seriously. We need to do this for the planet.
There's a war. And so I know that you can't afford stuff. And that's all the more reason that you should go out and spend money that you don't have for overpriced electric vehicles that you can't afford. That sums it up.
And to preserve a livable planet for our children and grandchildren. But we also need to take climate action because it is part of a geopolitically safer and more secure world. And Canada is very, very serious about that.
Hi there, Heather Butts with CTV News. Welcome to Canada.
Thank you.
Minister Freeland, this question may be a little bit more directed towards yourself, but Secretary Yellen, if you don't mind, we'd love to get your response on it as well. There was a report here in Canada, specifically Scotiabank said yesterday that the government must rein in spending to reduce inflation and take the pressure off the Bank of Canada. So what is your response to that? Can additional government spending solve inflation or just make it worse?
Well, I think we've already done that.
Made it worse?
Our
Yes,
budget,
you have.
which I tabled in April, was a very fiscally responsible budget. In fact, the rate of fiscal consolidation in Canada, the speed at which our deficits and debt are coming down, is tied for first place in the G7, and the country we're tied with is the United States. So that's another area where Secretary Yellen and I agree.
That's so funny that she'll badmouth America when there's not an American standing next to her. We're so much better than America. We've recovered 115% of jobs compared to America's only 95%. But now that there's an American standing next to her, oh yeah, we're tied. We're besties. Oh my God, no one's better than the other person. We all get participation ribbons.
Agree that absolutely, in a time of heightened inflation, and this is a time of heightened inflation, it is chiefly the central bank, the Bank of Canada, which has the job of bringing inflation down. We recognize that, and our government certainly respects the central role and the independence of the Bank of Canada. But we understand that fiscal policy has a role to play. That's why we took this decision in April to pursue a path of really swift, by the standards of our peers, and I can think of no better standard to be measured by, of fiscal consolidation, of fiscal tightening. And it's why last week, in talking about the affordability plan of our government, I chose
It's a load of crap.
to stay with the affordability measures that were already in the budget from April and in last year's budget, rather than bringing new measures online.
Yeah, that's a load of crap, man. She's already openly said in a previous press conference that you're not going to see any changes until 2023, like mid 2023. So the TLDR is hurry up and wait. We might come to save you. Chances are not. Still, emphasis on the hurry up and wait. Yeah. And as a result, you have, can you see? Oh, you can't see. This is how little the people trust the system, man. This has 2,000 views, this video. We're going to get 2,000 views in the first 30 minutes. No one likes the government, dude. No one likes the government. You guys are full of crap. You keep lying. It's horrible. Anyways, thank you so much for watching today's video. I know it was long. I know it's Freeland. None of us like her, but still, it's very important to hear her words, to call her out on her BS, and add more social pressure to her. And, go follow me on Twitter. I post the thumbnails on Twitter. Her crazy face, right? All distorted and stuff. I post them on her on Twitter. I tag her in it. Go spread it, man. We all sit down on the can and look at our phones. Guaranteed she's seen these thumbnails and these tweets at some point. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.
sorry. I thought I was gonna make it through this, but I'm not. It hurts.
Emotional damage.